Hello everybody, my name is Chanakya and today I'll be talking to you about IBM Worklight and developing apps using your IBM Worklight environment. For those of you who are new to IBM Worklight, Worklight is actually a mobile development IDE which helps us to actually create mobile applications using simple HTML5 and CSS3. IBM acquired Worklight recently and has now created the IBM Mobile Foundation, which consists of the IBM Worklight for developers, cast iron for backup and backend databases, and also an endpoint manager to manage all the data on your devices and manage all your devices together as a whole. So today I'll be actually teaching you how to create a simple application using Worklight. So first, to start off the Worklight, open Worklight, go in to all programs, the IBM Software Delivery Platform, and open the Worklight Studio. This is the IDE which actually allows you to create your applications. The advantage with creating applications using Worklight is that it's platform independent basically, unlike many other IDEs which came in the past. Now you can just create your application easily using HTML5 and CSS and simple things such as JavaScript and just convert it into the environment that you want to, like Android or even iPhone apps. Today I'll be showing you a small example of actually how to create an application in Worklight and deploy it on the server and actually view it or simulate it in the Worklight Console. There are basically three parts in Worklight: the Worklight Studio, which we are using right now, the Worklight Server, which is the application server on which we deploy our applications. In my case, it's WebSphere Liberty server that I'm using, and we also have a console. So this is a basic IDE that we have right now to deploy apps and actually design our own apps using the Worklight tool. So let's start the process. The first thing that we have to do is we have to create a new Worklight project. Oh, sorry, it's taking a bit of time to load. There we go. We go to new and we select new Worklight project. So just waiting it. Okay, you should get this screen. This is where you actually type in the name of your application. So we're gonna go with demo app and select hybrid application and hit next. Here we have to specify the application name. We'll go for demo app again. And in case you're using a jQuery framework or Sencha or Dojo, then you'll have to select the checkboxes below and actually add the library or the jar file that you have along with jQuery, Sencha, or Dojo. So that's if you want to use it in the frameworks. For now, for a simple application, we're not going to use any of those. We're just going to use simple HTML. So just hit finish and it should prepare the Worklight project for you, which should appear on the left hand side over here where you have the project explorer. So you will be seeing the demo app. There you go. We have the demo app right over here. So if you go into the demo app, you can see we have the Worklight Server library. We have the JavaScript resources, the adapters, which we'll be learning about later, and you should have all your applications in here. So it's a project in the apps folder. Here, the demo app, this is the application that we have, and if you can see over here, the application descriptor, this is what actually tells you about your application and what it's all about. It's an XML file. And in common, you'll have your CSS. Those are default CSS files that he's giving along with the project. We can have images if you want to put any images, and you have your JS files. And this is the demo app.html. It's a default HTML file that you give. So that's basically your home page that's going to open up immediately when you open up your application or deploy it on the server. So this is where we're going to actually edit the application. So let's just double click on that and open it, and you can see on the top we have a preview. So whatever you type on the bottom screen right over here, that will be appearing above there. So you can see just as I change it over here, you can see that the preview comes on top. So that's a huge advantage with Worklight. You don't have to run the application every time you want to preview it. It's just going to show you a preview right up there. So you can see right over here, this is where the application UI goes. So we're just going to remove this part. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a simple table with the form, so that you actually understand that anybody who has experience with using JSPs or HTML and forms and stuff can actually easily create Worklight applications or Android applications in Worklight. So we'll just use a table over here, and actually we don't have to do this on our own. Worklight actually provides us with a palette right over here on the right hand side. We can use it to import HTML tags, HTML form tags, and other stuff. This is a really cool part of Worklight. So we can just drag and drop a table right in there and tell it how many number of rows and columns we want. We'll just go with 2 and 2. So there you go. We have a table that we want, and you can see the preview over there. It doesn't have any backgrounds or anything. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the width as 100% so that it occupies the whole screen, and let's just align it to the center. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually remove this row maybe, or we can leave it. We'll just put another row up here on top, tr, another row there, and we can have another td, and we'll put the width of this td as 100%, so that occupies the whole screen. And we'll have the call span as 2, so that we can adjust the call span of the other TDs as well. So there you go, we have the TD, and here we'll just put demo form up there for you. So now we have the demo form. Let's just edit this a bit in the CSS so that you know how to use CSS as well. So we go over here on the left where you see the CSS folder and open the demo app.css. Here you can actually edit your stuff. So we'll just edit the table, tr, td, and let's put a nice background or border around it, maybe solid 2px border, and we'll align all the text to the center so that it's much more lucrative to look at. And let's put the margin as 0px as well, so that we don't get confused between tables. And you can see right now this form is actually, if I hit right click over here on this thing, or else click over here, it's going to refresh it, and there you can see our demo form. It's actually changed. Okay, so now we start adding the form parts, but before we do that, actually what we're going to do is we're going to put in a form here. So we put in a form, and let's specify the action. Let's say it goes to another HTML file called test.html, and there you go, we have a form now. So let's just remove this end tag of the form and put it wherever the form ends, and that's where it does. So in the form, let's put up all these call spans for the form, so that we have a uniform form or a uniform table. So let's have call span 1 over here, call span equal to 1 over here, and we'll have a first name coming over here. So we're having a problem with the preview, but it should appear in a few moments. I'll show you again. We'll just take this whole thing and put it over here so that we can have a last name as well instead of the first name. So the last name. Then we're gonna put in we can bring in text input from the HTML form tag. So we're gonna put a text field over here and a text field over here, and let's just add another button as well so that it's easy for us. So we go over here, let's put another td slash td, okay, see the form tag can't find its end tag. That's the reason why actually the preview isn't coming, because if there's any error in the HTML that we write, there you go, there we have our form. So if there's any errors in the HTML, then we won't be seeing the preview up there. Now we can, and that's basically what we've done till now. So we go here, put in call span, we'll say call span equals 2, and let's put a submit button in so that they can actually submit it. And the action of this submit button is now actually pointing towards the test.html, or the action of the form. So that's basically the form that we created. Let's check it out. We have a problem with the yep, so that's pretty much what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to put value in here. We're going to say submit. So when he presses that, it's going to submit the form and go to test.html. But now we have to actually create the test.html. For that, let's go to common, right click on it, go new, and select web page. So you can give the HTML file's name, let's say test, and then just finish. So now you can see you have the test.html, which we can open up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put some text in there. The form was submitted. The form was sent over to this page. So now that we have that, now we've actually got our application ready along with the demo app.html. So once we hit submit on this form, it's actually going to go over to test.html over here. So now if you actually want to deploy this application on the server and actually view it, so we have to first start the server, and that's the Worklight server. So go over to your project right over on the right, demo app, right click on it, and click start Worklight server. So you can see it's work, and the console over here, it's actually activating the project on the server. So we still haven't deployed it, but not right now. What we're doing is we're actually starting the Worklight server. So there you go, activation done. You can see right over here. So that means that your Worklight server has been started successfully, and that now you can actually deploy your applications on the Worklight server. So now we go over to apps, or demo app. This is our app. So we right click on it, run as, build all, and deploy. Okay, I'll show it to you again. Go to demo app, right click on it, run as, and build all and deploy. And this should deploy your application on the Worklight server. Okay, you can see, there we go, we're building the app, the console is working on it. Okay, so application demo app with all environments deployed successfully with all environments. So the application was deployed successfully. Now, this is the preview, but if you actually want to watch what happens with action of the form and action of the application, you can't really check it out here, because whatever you click, it's not going to really change. So what you have to do is you have to open the console on your local host, or that is the server. As you can see, I just actually did a bit of drag and drop there. You can also do that. That's a real big advantage with Worklight and the preview. You can actually drag and drop this form right around over there, and it'll actually generate the script for you. But this isn't the actual cool part of it. The cool part is that once you actually deploy your app on the server, you can actually convert it to any environment, such as Android or iOS for the iPhones, or maybe for BlackBerry, or even as a Windows desktop app. All you have to do is convert it and create a new environment, and you don't have to do any other extra work. All you do is you work with HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and all those other things. Now we deployed our app successfully onto the Worklight server. So what we can do now actually is we can go over, open your browser. You don't have to be connected to the internet to do this. Type in http://localhost:8080/console, and this will actually open up something like this. This is what we call the Worklight Console, where you can actually preview your apps and how they actually look. So now we go in, it has preview as common resources, because we still haven't converted it to any particular environment. So now you can see we have our demo form over here, first name, so you can actually type in data. It's not going to store any of it, but you can still type it in. So once you hit submit, see it goes over to here. The form was sent over to this page. So our application is actually working properly. So I'll show that to you again. We go to the Worklight console, demo app was deployed successfully, so demo app is there on your console, and any other applications that you deploy at that particular moment will be there. If you deploy another app right now, demo app will be removed from the server and the new app will be deployed on it, so you can have only one app at a time deployed on the server. That is our Worklight application server, which you have to download along with the Worklight Studio. So you go here, preview as common resources, click on it, and you can actually preview your app, and then you can just submit it and it'll show you that it's working over there. And now the cool part is we can actually convert it to Android. So how we do this is we go over to demo app, right click on it. Oh, and I can actually show you another cool thing is we can actually select our device over here, so that the preview over here shows us the device. So this would be our application on an iPhone 3GS, on a HTC Evo 4G. This would be it. So it actually shows you how your application is going to look. The default one is just standard, which just looks like this, which is just showing your application. It doesn't show it how it actually looks on the mobile phone or the OS that you're gonna use it or deploy it on. So now to deploy apps on an iPhone or an iOS based device like an iPad, you actually have to have a Mac system or a Mac OS, because it requires an application called Xcode, which actually does all the conversion of code from HTML into the iOS code. But to do that, you have to have a Mac system. So what we're doing is, since Android is open source, I've downloaded the SDK and the ADT, and also have an AVD, which is an Android virtual device, where we can actually emulate our apps to see how they actually look on an Android device. So now going to the next step, we can actually create an Android environment. So we go over here, click on demo app, right click on it, and go new Worklight environment. You click on this, it'll give you a screen something like this. So here you can select for the mobile phone, iPhone, iPad, or Android phones and tablets, BlackBerry, Windows Phone, the desktop apps like Windows 7 and Vista, Mac OS Dashboard, and also web apps such as for Facebook, iGoogle, or mobile web apps, anything, any environment you can just convert it. But our system is set up for only Android right now, so we'll go for Android. Just click finish, and you should have something like this appear in your application. If you look into this, it's actually building it still. You can see there you go, with Android environment was built successfully. We'll go over to the Worklight Console to show you that. So application demo app with environment Android build finish. So now you have the Android application ready for you, and you can actually see this is the native folder. This is where it's going to convert all your HTML. This is the common folder where you've actually written your HTML, and the native folder consists of all the converted HTML into Java, which Android is actually written into. And that's the beauty of Worklight. It makes everything so easy. So now what we have to do is we have to build and deploy all of this again onto the server, including the Android environment. So what we'll do is we'll click on demo app over here, go to run as, and build all and deploy. So that should deploy our app on the Worklight console. There you go, the server started automatically and the application was built, and now it's deploying it onto the server. And demo app, there you go, demo app was deployed successfully with all environments. So now our application has been deployed along with the Android environment onto the Worklight console. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the Worklight console again, and you're going to have to refresh this so that it brings up the changes. And there you can see we have the Android environment set up right over here. So now you can actually simulate your application to see how it looks like in an Android environment, or not exactly an Android emulator, but it's a Worklight simulator, which actually shows you how it looks on a mobile phone. So you just click on Android right over here, and it's going to open something like this. So you have your demo app, and here it is, demo form, first name, the same thing as the previous one, but here now you can actually preview it, and you click submit. The form was sent over to this page. So that's what you can actually do. So you're actually simulating the application on a mobile phone, or how it's going to look on a mobile phone. And you have a bunch of other things over here which we'll look into in a later session maybe. So I'll show that to you again. You open the Worklight console. Demo app is already deployed onto here. Just click on Android and you should have your app ready over here. Type into it and then just submit it, and it should be working all right for you. It's pretty simple actually. Worklight has actually simplified the process of developing apps for mobile devices, and we can actually even create an iPhone environment. We can't emulate it on the iPhone, but we can create an iPhone environment. So we'll just select iPhone over here and just click finish. So it'll create an iPhone environment as well. So environment iPhone was created, and now it's trying to create our app for the iPhone environment successfully. It should happen. It's really quick actually, Worklight, and the Worklight console actually tells us everything that we need. There you go, application demo app will then run iPhone was built successfully. So now what we do, we again build all and deploy. So go to run as, build all and deploy. And we have to change over to the Worklight console. So it's starting the build process, deploying the application onto the server, and there we go. The application was deployed successfully again onto the environment. So we go over to the browser, in my case Internet Explorer. You can use any browser works. http://localhost:8080/console. Please do remember, you do not need the internet to open the console, and the localhost 8080 is going to be the same for everyone. So now you can see we have the Android environment, which we already previewed, and we also have the iPhone environment that's also been created. It's going to show the same thing, except you can see it's changed a bit to suit the iPhone type of thing. This is the Apple iPhone 4. We can pretty much change it, so that's the platform that it's developed for, and it's going to work in the same way. And the beauty of it is that you've written the same code, but now you're available for Android, you're available for the iPhone, you're available for any OS you want, and you can just deploy it as simple as that. So Worklight is really, that's the advantage with using Worklight. It's a simplicity. So the easy parts about it is, the main parts that I can tell you is the development is really easy because we're using HTML, simple HTML as you use in a web application. You won't have JSP over here, so you'll have to have a good grip on JavaScript maybe, but for people who've done JSP, they should know Java, so JavaScript shouldn't be that difficult. It's just pretty much a scripting version of Java. And another neato thing about this is the preview panel over here that they've given. You can actually enlarge this to see it on a larger screen. And another really neat thing is the palette that they've given. They've almost added everything. And HTML5 is really cool because of some of the content that they're given. You can actually import video and audio directly without using Flash. So a lot of good things about Worklight, and the server is also inbuilt and integrated into all this thing. So this IDE is actually Eclipse. It's called Worklight Studio. Worklight Console is another part. Worklight Server is the third part of the Worklight edition. And this is the Worklight Enterprise Edition that I'm using. Worklight Developer Edition is available on IBM Developer Works. You can actually go and download it for free. And it comes with Eclipse and everything. It's really easy, and they have a lot of modules and training material that you can actually use. So I hope I was a bit of help for all of you guys, and I hope you have a good time with developing apps using the IBM Worklight Studio. Thank you.